Welcome back, students of Night School Horror. As shadows lengthen in the second semester, prepare for a chilling curriculum. Unearth the unknown as we delve deeper into the abyss. This semester, we elevate the darkness where nightmares become lessons. Class is now in session. May you all survive this semester. In one piece.
Hello, everyone. Sit down. Please sit down. Spring break is over. Sit down. Get your feet off the table.
Sorry.
The fuck. Let's do this roll call really quickly. As you know, I am your professor tonight. I am Mr. Malave, a.k.a. Matthew Malave, a.k.a. your longest reigning, defending Who You Got champion. It has been 705 days since I have been champion. Well, no, wow, really. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just lacking of the blood. But today we have, I'm okay, guys. I'm okay. I'm a little fatigued.
You'll be okay.
My voice is a little gone. You know what I mean? It's been a long journey here. You know, I'm just happy that we're all here together. And I'm still the champion for 705 days. That's what I'm really happy about. All right, but let's take some roll call here really quickly. We have the smooth effect himself. Tommy James, are you here?
You know, I was here, and then you called yourself the defending champion. I said defending. When was the last time you defended it?
Against you.
December.
And I whipped your ass.
December.
I whipped your ass.
It's May. Okay. You are the Roman Reigns. You don't defend the title. Okay. We need to see you defend the championship to be defending champion. But it is true. 705 days or whatever it is. You are a champion for that amount, but it's easy to be a champion for 705 days when you've only defended it twice in 705 days. So yeah, I am here.
First of all, if you have a problem with it, you could try to take it away from me.
I think it's Sabrina's turn.
She can try.
It should be Sabrina's turn. I'll see you at Spooky Empire. That's where I'll be.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be there.
Fine.
I'll be there for that.
Fine. You could be there and you can lose again.
That's fine. At least it's getting defended again.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? It's not like I'm hiding from anyone. Y'all know where I'm at. Y'all know where I be's. So come and get the smoke.
You over on the bench waiting.
I'm over on the bench.
Well,
I'm in danger.
Step up, bruh.
Why aren't you defending the title? Because I was over on the bench.
He was. He had a shot. He had a chance to defend it at MegCon. He said, "No, we didn't have enough time." Oh, we could have made time.
Oh yeah. But then why? How come we didn't then?
You said no.
Oh yeah, because I'm the champion where I say goes.
Okay,
all right,
there you go. That's the answer we were looking for. All the listeners know now.
Good.
Oh, bitch.
Good. I'm glad you guys are listening to me, and you're like, well, I don't give a fuck. You're gonna do it anyway. Ha! Because when you have the gold, you have the power. All right. So there it is. Well, you heard her already. She called out a turn. It's everyone's favorite creep, and Florida's favorite creep. Sabrina Ace.
What's up, guys? I'm just hanging out. I'm just over on the bench. Having a good old time.
You're over on the bench.
Get off the bench and get into the game.
When there's a game, I'll get in it. But now,
it's
I'm
funny,
over
right?
on the bench.
We haven't had a game in a long time. 5 months to be exact.
How does she get to be the next one up?
There's literally
has a losing
only
record?
3 of us.
To be fair, I've only ever really competed once.
That's right. She deserves herself a shot.
So here's
I wouldn't
this.
say it's a losing streak. I just lost one.
How about this one? How about you guys fight again to see who's going to face me next month?
Where?
Or at the end of the month.
Where?
We'll do a virtual one. Why not?
Virtual challenge.
We'll figure it out. But
I think you're getting a triple threat at Spooky Empire anyway, so it changes nothing.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess I'm just gonna have to be the champ until Spooky.
Oh no, we'll change that. But yeah, no, let's go. That's fine. Let's go. Count Mr. Malave. Count Malave.
All right, guys. So Count Malave is is doing this class right now. So it's just a little spoiler right now, but we are talking about vampires today.
Vampires.
How many of you love vampires?
I love vampires.
You like vampires? What about you, Sabrina? You like vampires?
Love is a strong word, but I'm definitely interested in them.
Oh, well, you know what?
What would you put over
don't love-
vampires?
Yeah, right?
Good question.
Zombies.
I would not.
Zombies are
I'm-
pretty cool.
I'm
They
a
are
zombie
cool,
cat.
but I respect that you have your own opinion, but your opinion is wrong, and vampires are cooler.
Yeah, no, I have to
We
agree
didn't
with
say
Tommy
which
over
one
here.
was
I mean,
cooler. We just said which one would you put above
Oh, which one is cooler? How about that?
vampires.
Yeah, they're so cool.
Canonically.
Yeah,
They're totally
as
cool.
fuck.
They're like really cool.
I would be a vampire. I got a question for you. If you had the opportunity to be a vampire, would you?
No.
Why?
Hard. No.
Well, you're dead, and you have to suck blood. Can't eat anything else besides that. And your
No, I mean,
skin
you
color
can.
changes. You get very pale. Sometimes you even glow and sparkle. So
It was sparkle.
I was going-
Sparkle,
I would be
right?
Blade.
Dark Road.
I think I would be Blade.
You be the daywalker.
I would like to be a daywalker. I'd be okay with that.
I'd like to be a Buffy
Well, no, then you're a vampire slayer.
That's fine.
Correct.
She could be a
because
Van
I don't want to
Helsing.
be a vampire and watch all my loved ones die around me as I live forever.
Well, that's morbid.
That's why you could be a
Um,
daywalker.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
that's
thanks.
true. Well, yeah.
Because I'm still immortal.
But you could die. You could
I
just.
could. All vampires.
You could
die.
technically die. Like you could kill Blade if you needed to.
It's
All
true.
vampires
You can.
die.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
think that's a tough question. It's, to
It is.
choose
It is.
to be
Well, you
a
know what?
vampire.
Marinate
Yeah, no, I'm
on
good.
that. I'll circle back around at the end of the class to see if anyone else has an answer.
That's
All
fair.
right. But first, let's talk about vampires and how they came about really quickly. All right. As you know, they're not real, everyone. All right. But
Are you sure?
Who's to
I
say?
mean,
Who's to say?
we were
Are
all
you a
not sure about
scientist? Do
everything.
you know?
I'm not a scientist, but I made a call and they're a scientist and they still don't know.
See?
So
See?
it's an
So we
unknown.
don't know. All right. But for now, we're gonna say that, they're folklore. Right? They're folklore and it stems all the way back to the 1400s. And yeah, it comes from, sources say that it comes from back in the day when all these like people from Europe used to go and like they used to camp outside and they had these blood-sucking bats that were huge, almost like the size of Sabrina. And they used to come at night, obviously, and they used to like suck some blood. And then some of them would carry like rabies and other diseases that make humans go crazy and act all funny and weird, and then they would pass away. So that stems the whole lore of vampires. Like, oh no, these motherfuckers are crazy. They're gonna suck my blood dry, and they only come at night. So there's vampires, and they took them all the way back to Eastern Europe, and hence all the whole fables of vampires and people going all crazy to the point where they would dig up people that died from other diseases and everything just to see what's going on. And they realized that they were all sucked dry from blood, but not realizing that the decomposing of a body happens and the blood goes away. But, it's all right. This is the 1500s. Modern science hasn't caught up to everyone yet. So they don't know. So what they proceed to do with the person that's already dead is take a stake and drive them right through the heart and then bury them again. And in certain cases, they would burn the bodies. And yeah, the vampires were born. It's kind of fucked up, no? It's a little fucked up.
A little bit.
It's doing too much.
Yeah, it's doing the most, really.
It is.
It's
like
not
because
nice.
they're already dead.
It's giving overkill.
Like actual overkill. Like
Yeah.
they're dead. Kill them again. Let's
He's
fucking kill him
already
again.
dead. Stop stabbing him.
Stab him again. He's a schmuck.
Leave the body alone.
Wow. Like, leave Freddy alone.
I know, but I put body because it works. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, so on top of that, then we have everyone knows the most famous vampire of them all. Who is it? Anyone?
I know.
Okay, go.
It's Dennis the Vampire.
That is incorrect.
That's not what my notes say.
Ah,
Right
well,
here in my notes says right
we didn't
here,
read the right source
Dennis
material.
Dennis the Vampire.
Yeah. Well, his name is not
Or
Dennis.
Nandor. I'm sorry, I said that wrong.
Nandor. All right, well,
Nandor is a good
You know what?
vampire.
I will accept that answer. I will accept that answer because Nandor is one of the famous vampires ever.
Mhm.
But I'm not looking for Nandor. I'm looking for something else. Sabrina.
I'm just gonna say Vladdy,
Oh, what's his last name?
Vampire.
Mr. Impaler.
It's Dracula himself. Mr. Dracula himself. So Dracula comes from the lore of Vlad the Impaler,
Mr. Vladdy.
who was born in Transylvania.
He's Russian.
He was Russian. He was
Vlad.
born in Transylvania. And he ruled Romania on and off from the 1448 through 1477. And he got his name from impaling his fucking victims with a stake.
Jesus.
And he was just a evil person. He was brutal yet just. They might want to say, but I don't get the just part.
You know where he impaled them, by the way?
Where?
Straight up the butt, out the mouth.
I was gonna make a joke and say up the butt, but the fact that that's the answer,
it's true.
It
was literally like
terrible.
all the way up their spine and out their mouth.
He would make like
horrible. So when you say he was very just, I'm like, he made beef jerky sticks.
Yeah. He made man jerky sticks.
He did.
That's not good.
Yeah,
I don't like that guy.
He made he made shish kebabs out of people. And not only that, I mean, you talk about just, right? So sources say that he would love dining with his dying victims, and he would dip his bread in their blood, and he would eat them, and it's just like eating, just for fun, just for fun. You know, and he would at times drink some of his fucking victims' blood. You know how like that war move when they take like the blood and they just like put it on their hands. I mean, put it on their face or like their chest, just a sign of like, I got you, bro. No, he did the most, and he was like, I'm dipping my bread in your blood. It's nice. It's creamy.
I think that's a ultimate I got you, bro. There's nothing more I got you, bro, than dipping bread in the person's blood and being like, because it's elegant. You know, just dip, and just, I got you.
She's like,
it's like Hannibal Lecter status right there.
Yeah. It's almost as crazy as Hannibal Lecter, like taking a piece of someone's brain and letting them eat it, you know?
Yeah, that's a good scene.
Yeah, that's a really good scene. But we're not talking about cannibals. We're talking about vampires. And hence the folklore of Dracula came from Vlad the Impaler. All right. I just gotta say off the bat, I love vampires. I know we've had this platform, Night School Horror, where we get to talk about these creatures. We did a zombie episode, which, you know, sorry, Sabrina, you weren't on that one, but we could do a part 2. But this is the vampire episodes, and I just love talking all things vampires because from that lore, from that history, you get everything that we got right now. We get the sexiness of it, we get like the gruesomeness of it, the gore, the blood, and we just created a whole culture based on these crazy things that no one understood, and a crazy person that no one really understood. Well, back in the day. Now studies show that he was basically a maniac, and a dictator, and he needed to get put out of office really quickly. But back in the day,
not as just as they thought.
Yeah, exactly. Not as just as everyone thought and wrote in their scriptures. But we wouldn't have everything we have right now if we didn't have all these crazy fucking stories and like origins, right? So right off the bat, I want to open it up to you guys. What is your favorite things about vampires that gravitates you to watch, be a part of, or like just, you know, everything with vampires that make you like vampires? Like, I'll open it up to you guys. What is some things that you like about vampires that just keeps you hooked?
They're
right?
cool.
All right. You know what? If this was really class, like, and you said they're cool, I'll just tell you.
What makes them cool, Tommy?
Well, first off, this is college, by the way, you know, night school, so we don't need to raise our hands, by the way.
I know, I didn't. I never said raise your hand. I said anyone can go, and you were like, they're cool. And I was like,
cool.
You know what? if you gave me that answer, I would tell you to get the fuck out.
What you would, all you would ask is,
they're
well, why
cool.
are they cool? They're cool. If you look at vampires, they're always portrayed as something cool. Like, they're very elegant. They're very fancy. But then there's other sides of them where they're fucking wearing, biker jackets and fucking got tattoos and they're fucking riding on motorcycles and they're getting all the bitches. So when you watch it, you look and you go, damn, they're getting all the chicks. So why wouldn't you want to be a Kiefer Sutherland, Why wouldn't you want to sit there with the cool hair, the fucking earring, the fucking looking like you're in the Warriors, but you're getting all the chicks because you can turn the chick and have the same chick, but then you notice that they don't just have one chick, they have like 12 chicks. And it's like when you go to Bram Stoker's, like you're like, look at Gary Oldman. Like he is like an older man, but then he's Gary Oldman with looking very fancy, and then he looks like a badass. So I feel when it comes to vampires, when you look at the Wolfman, the Mummy, and then a vampire like Dracula, it's like that's why they look at them as the leaders because they're intelligent. Most of the time, they're intelligent. They come off that they can walk around humans and completely keep it normal. They could just be like, hello, my name is Vlad. Oh, hello, Vlad. And later Vlad is fucking sucking your blood. And that's it. Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't know.
And
they'd be like,
oh, liking it. You're kind of liking it, but you're kind of
liking it, but you're kind of like dying at the same time. But if you look at any Dracula film, especially, he walks amongst the humans like it's just fucking another day. And they just call, oh, that's Dracula right there. Hello, this is Count. This is the Count. And he's just like, hey, I'm the Count. I'm killing all of your people, and I'm stealing your women. And they're just like, nah, he's a really nice guy. Because he is.
He's a really
nice guy. You look at movies like The Lost Boys. Those guys are fucking chilling at the boardwalk, just hanging out. No one's sitting there going, those guys are strange. No, because they're cool. You don't fuck with those people. Why? Because they're badasses. 30 Days of Night. Those vampires were fucking badass motherfuckers in that movie.
I don't think anyone would say they were nice, though.
They're not nice. They're not friendly.
That's the
but
point.
they were
nice,
badass, though. When you look, you were like, those are some badass people right there. Okay?
Yes.
Blade is a badass.
That's true.
So I look at vampires, I think, and they're cool.
So they're cool, badass motherfuckers. That's why.
Badass motherfuckers.
I'll accept that one. Thank you for elaborating. I'll accept that one.
I try.
Sabrina, what makes you gravitate towards vampires?
Pretty much the mystery of them. Like, yeah, they're cool and alluring, but it's the whole mystery that draws you in. Because if I see somebody cool chilling out on the boardwalk, it's like, they're too cool for me to even talk to. I don't care. But it's when they lock eyes with you and you go, wait, they're noticing me noticing them. Therefore, the mystery is what drives you to it. It's the wanting to know who they are, what makes them so cool. And I love that Tommy started out saying, it's just because they're cool. They're badass motherfuckers. It's like, right. But I could see a cool badass motherfucker anytime. But what makes me drawn to them is the fact that they know it and they want me to gravitate towards them. So it's kind of like
they want to bite
throwing the invisible hook, the invisible line and sinker to pull you in just enough to where you kind of trust them to where they can attack. Or whether they can decide whether they want to do something further with you. It's almost like a prey situation without it being completely just on the nose. It's almost like just this mysterious stranger is trying to have a conversation with you. And it turns either one way or the other, whether very gruesome or dark, or you are now part of their want in an instant. And it's not so much the fear, but it's the mystery. It's the overall mystery of it.
So you're saying you have a type. She likes the mystery, man.
She broke it down pretty well on that one.
She broke it really down.
They
then they noticed me looking at them,
and I'm looking at them, and she's looking at me, and she's looking at them, and it's just like.
Well, it's also, it brings me back to a very
trapped
iconic
into
scene.
their.
They technically use that. That's power that they have.
Let me put you guys onto a
spell
scene.
on you.
Imagine from dusk till dawn.
Oh, good one.
You walk into a
Fantastic.
nightclub or a bar and you see that girl up on stage and you go, oh, she's very attractive. But then she notices you.
Stop.
You're sitting down.
Stop. Stop. How dare you say she's very attractive? Have you seen Selma Hayek in that shit? That's not attractive.
Sir.
That's fucking Jesus Christ.
That's smoke show
That's
action.
smoking. Like, oh my God. I wouldn't use the term attractive. She's surpassed attractive.
Yeah. What is
I'm trying
Holy
to
shit.
respect her, sir.
I respect her by saying
You
she's
can respect
fucking
her as much
gorgeous.
as you want. She is so fucking slamming in that movie.
What's
But the whole
different
point
of her saying fucking
The whole point I'm
Ugh.
trying to portray is that whether it's a man, woman, doesn't matter. If
Doesn't
it's
matter.
a fucking vampire, it's going to draw you in.
Very true. And suck her feet.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm not support. Yeah. I'm not gonna survive if Salma Hayek's the vampire.
No.
I'm not going to survive either, dog.
No.
I'll give up. Just like, can you turn me, please, so we could do this again?
But I'm also not going to survive if it's Kiefer Sutherland.
No.
Ooh,
I don't think so
all right.
either. I don't think any of us
Either
are.
one of
think I
those
would
two,
either.
I'm fucking dead. It doesn't
We're
matter.
all
But
dead.
the scene I'm painting is that the mystery of either of them
Mhm.
is going to draw you in. You're going to sit down. You're going to enjoy everything that they are saying, whether you recognize the words they're saying at you or not.
1,000%.
But
I'm
I
going to be
also
looking at her
have
tits.
I have a theory that it's just part of their power. Because we all know vampires have powers. I'm not sure if we're wanting to get into this now or later, but like it's a long fucking list. Have you seen the list?
We have a lot of powers.
A lot
And
of powers.
supposedly in
Let's
every
get into
story.
it.
It's always
let's get
different
into
too,
it.
and
Yeah.
they like to adjust
Yeah.
some of the powers based on certain vampires. Like,
Either
yeah.
adjust or give them something further, but like they have a hypnosis
Yep.
and a telekinesis,
Mhm.
depending. So that stare, that invisible hook that they're drawing, could just be hypnosis.
That's purposeful.
Yes.
And what if they're not as attractive as we think they are?
Like Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So what if they're just an unattractive vampire that they're hypnotizing you to think they're attractive?
1,000%.
100%.
So we have no
Gary
fucking clue.
Oldman.
It's just Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
But it's just there's a huge long fucking list of abilities. They have enhanced senses, super strength, shape shifting when they turn
Yep.
into their bats or whatever
Turn to
fucking
bat.
creatures.
Bat.
Hypnosis,
Bat.
energy drain. The energy drain is crazy just to think about in general.
Yeah, energy vampire.
Yeah.
Like they have specific energy vampires, or they have a vampire that can just drain your energy, because the definition that we have of vampires is a mythical creature that subsists on feeding on the vital essence of the living.
Correct.
So is that your energy or your blood?
Could be both.
Is that both? And it's different in every single fucking vampire movie. And this is the one thing that drives me nuts about vampires is the inconsistency.
I
See,
feel it's acceptable though. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah, that's
it
what-
is inconsistent, but I don't mean to cut you off. Just real quick. But I feel like it's fine because when you watch What We Do in the Shadows, like they break that down where it's like there's different shit, and then you get certain other vampires come in and they're like, oh, this guy can do this. Woo-hoo-hoo. It's like levels to the certain
But I
vampires.
love that.
And I like Colin Robinson is an energy vampire, and it just when you
Right.
see the way he acts, you're like, I get it. So I think I'm okay with it, somewhat of that inconsistency. It's like we want to try to open up the world.
I'm okay
of
with
vampires.
inconsistency when it's addressed.
See,
For
I don't
instance,
think-
like What We Do in the Shadows. But when
Yeah,
it's in
they
a
address
movie
it.
and they don't address it, and I'm like, okay, so which one is which?
Mhm. See, I don't think it's a problem because they have so many abilities that it leaves it open to and like interpretation and of the writer of the movie, TV show, book, whatever, to utilize certain powers or not utilize certain powers, right? And I feel like that's what makes vampires great is the fact that they have all those abilities, right? Like you said, and and there's different iterations of them. Right. There's to the point where there's certain movies where garlic doesn't work. You know what I mean? And then there's certain movies where, the cross and stuff doesn't work, so like, and then there's movies where all of that works, and it's okay because the vampires are so loose and things have like adapted and just like expanded throughout the years. And it just makes it okay. I feel like it makes it okay because they have so many abilities. And it's the unknown. It brings it back to what you said with the whole mystery stuff. Right? Oh, they're so mysterious. You don't know them, like, this and that. And that's what attracts you to them. Right? Just because they don't show a certain power or a certain thing that they do doesn't mean that they can't do it. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that keeps you on the toes. And that's the thing that I kind of like love about watching movies or TVs with vampires. Cause it's like in any given form, it could be part 3 of a movie, or it could be like the 4th season. And I don't know where you're like, wait a minute, this guy shapeshifts now. And it's just like, yeah, like no one said he couldn't,
But
and then
he
it's
didn't
just
get
like,
there yet. We
right.
got to get
Maybe
there.
he didn't get there yet. Maybe certain that whatever's happening in the story right now has forced him to unlock that kind of power, and boom, now we have that. Which I think that's great for a canvas of a vampire movie, TV show, anything because of that. And that's what I love the most about like vampires. And of course, they're cool, sleek, suave, and like they're smart. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because they've seen so much and they live for so long. Like, I always go back to like, and this is like a great segue. I go back to one of my favorite vampire movies, and it's the Interview with the Vampire, and they're like classy and they're like very knowledgeable and shit. Like, and and it's because they've lived for centuries and they've seen all of this stuff happen in front of them. They've seen the world expand. They've seen, they've read all the books that from the past, and they're basically writing their own history from everything that's been happening, and that's what I like about vampires as well too. They're smart, they're very calculated, and they always like plan out their whole shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they act on impulse, but not a lot. Like, impulse is only when they're
Hungry.
they're haven't fed hungry, yeah, and they haven't fed for a while. But other than, because then that's when they start losing their shit. I mean, when I'm hangry, I lose my shit. You know what I mean? So like, other than that, their next feeding is always calculated. Their next move is always very calculated, and they move with a purpose. And I love that shit.
Yeah, I like that
shit.
too. I like that they kind of utilize their powers and whatnot as more humanized than anything else, than humanized than a mummy, humanized than a werewolf. Because one thing is, like Mr. Blivet, like you said, when they get hungry, they get hangry, and they do, and usually you say and do stupid shit when you get hangry. They're very much like about sex. They love sex, but as humans, we love sex. Sex is great. We like to have a good time doing it. Sometimes we like to do it with more partners. Sometimes and it ends badly if you do that.
Right.
But some people do that. So I feel like that's a good way to put it. That they're more humanized than any other of these other creatures.
Yep.
So you can understand it more, and that's why, like, a question saying, "Would you want to be a vampire?" Because you start looking at it like, well, what's besides what do I gain? Because you gain a lot, but what do I lose? And that's where Sabrina's part came into. Well, technically, yeah, I get the immortal side, but I'm watching all these people die and whatnot, and the hunger plays a factor. So my question, actually, to Sabrina would be, what vampire movie do you feel really stuck to the rules and didn't surprise you, didn't do anything where you were like, oh, that's bullshit, but stuck to a vampire rule? Like, what pops in your head when you think of one? Because I can think of one.
I mean, classic Dracula, but
Besides classic Dracula, because that's the book.
That's the standard.
Yeah,
that's the standard.
Like, later on in life, which
Yep.
one came up where you were like, that sticks to the rules?
And not Dracula 2000.
That didn't stick to the rules.
I didn't
No, I
watch
didn't.
Dracula 2000.
Good, don't.
It's one of those things where it doesn't. I feel like I have to clarify this. It doesn't have to stick to the rules. It doesn't have to. I just need them to acknowledge that, hey, this does not stick to the rules.
Okay.
It's almost like if somebody tells you, hey, a vampire, to kill it, needs to be staked through the heart or decapitated or lit on fire. And you go, okay. But then the movie, it doesn't happen. And they never acknowledge it. And they just keep going. It's like, wait, you said these things. Are we now saying that we can't? And then if we can't, you need to change those rules. For instance, I was looking up in the research saying that silver could kill a vampire. And I'm like, hold on. That's also a werewolf.
That's a werewolf thing. Yeah.
So did it start with a vampire or a werewolf? And then it just kind of twisted. And the more I got into it, it was different iterations across the board. And I'm like, right, but we canonically know that as Silver kills werewolves or defeats werewolves, not vampires. So how did that get into the vampire bit? And why don't we acknowledge that?
I think because of the confusion. I think if you want to, like, I've heard that too. Like, you've seen in certain movies, they're like,
I mean,
silver.
even in like Blade or something, they said like silver.
He
They had,
uses
like,
silver.
stakes.
Yeah,
he does.
He shoots silver stakes at people. But I think too, those were different kind of vampires as well. Like, they weren't just regular, Dracula vampires. They were specific kind of vampires because he had it in the second one. He had an issue with that. He couldn't use that. There was an advanced kind of vampire. So there's tiers to this shit. And I guess in a way we could put it, there's, and I feel that's what makes vampires really interesting, is because it keeps it interesting. It finds a way to shock you sometimes, instead of being like the same thing with a werewolf, for example, where it's always the same trick pony. Like, it's just like, well, how do we kill it? Well, but there's two options here. One, you shoot it with a fucking silver bullet, or two, it has to kill what turned it. That's it. They never tried to change anything. They were like, nope, that worked. We're going to stick with that shit. But with
They
vampires,
did change it, just not in movies.
Well, where did they change it?
They change it in books.
I don't read.
Yeah, I mean, they changed it in books. How? Like, well, we're not talking werewolves. We'll get there.
But like, I just feel like,
But that's what I mean about vampires. Like,
there's
bring
always
it back to
something
vampires.
different. Yeah, she's right.
I don't mind if they change something.
Just tell me.
I never have a problem if they
Just
change
acknowledge it.
Give me
something.
the
Just
rule.
acknowledge it.
Give me the rule.
Tell me the
So
new
you're
rule.
saying that like
That's good.
so tell you the new rule. Got it. Okay,
You know who
so
did that really well? What movie actually does that really well? Now that's what bring back to my original question, was Fright Night did that really well, because they pretty much they stuck to Dracula's rules.
Yeah.
And then there was just a little tweak to it, and it was explained by the Van Helsing guy. Technically, he was, I forgot the one that what's his face plays, the Purple Man. But he explains the backstory of what he learned from vampires. So now you, as the audience, you're going, oh, okay, that makes sense. I understand
And
that
see,
now.
no problem. With
Right. So you're saying that like you are not a fan of like those movies that just goes right into it, and then you're kind of learning as you go along, like what are the do's and don'ts of the vampires.
It's so much, if the character already knows the do's and don'ts, they should be able to explain the do's and don'ts as the story progresses without me having to go, wait, so they knew this all along and didn't use it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
Okay. I
bad
mean, that's
storytelling
fair.
to me,
No, yeah,
but
that's definitely fair. That's fair.
just
All right.
in
So, I mean,
instance.
off of that, I have a question for everyone now. Let's just dive into some of the movies now. And Sabrina, what is your favorite vampire movie that, to your rules, state the facts right away and takes you on a ride?
I mean, even if it doesn't state the facts right away, it's okay as long as they state the facts as they know it. But to pick a favorite is really hard because I made a point to make a list of the ones that I thought were super good to me that really stuck out to me growing up and made me go, wow, now that is a vampire movie everybody needs to see. And it's kind of a toss up between Lost Boys and From Dusk Till Dawn for me.
Two great.
Those two are really high up on my list.
Yeah, absolutely. Good.
But I have
picks.
so many more, but those two I keep coming back to.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, those are two very good picks. I myself, I've stated it. I'm very open on this. Like, Lost Boys is my favorite vampire movie of all time. Something about when I was a kid watching it, and it's kind of like my introduction to like the vampire genre. Maybe I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Well, you can, because who else are you going to quote? But anyway, like, I just love it
Call it a
because
genre.
yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Subgenre, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think Lost Boys is one of those movies that it ties up everything that a vampire is. That's sleek, sexy, mysterious, a vicious killer, and it's one line that's great when it's just like, I try to make you immortal. You try to make me a killer. And then they're just going and it's just like the back and forth of being immortal, like being being like forever, like being like someone that's immortal, and then just having your moral states, like, oh, I can't kill people, like it's just like, well, you have to, you know what I mean? But also, it to your point, like they broke it down perfectly, right?
Yeah.
When you meet those two guys, and they're like, this is what you have to do, and they set up. I think one of my favorite scenes is, of course, the montage when they're getting everything ready.
Oh
It's
yeah.
almost like reminiscing of like how, like, Home Alone, when he's getting all his traps ready.
Yeah.
And you're just getting like the tub full of garlic. You're getting like the steaks that they put up on the top that ultimately kill Keith Sutherland. Like, like, and the whole house is just getting booby trapped to get prepared for these vampires. And I think that was great. Like, I think that's one of my favorite scenes in all of vampire lore, is that montage. And then as seeing them getting executed with the water guns, with the holy water. Like, it's just a fucking great movie. That movie just brings together everything, as far as, all the killings that we've seen too, and the mysterious part of it, even with the killings, like they had first person views of like when the vampires are like attacking, even before you see the vampires,
Yeah.
and I thought that was great, like, because we don't really see the vampires turning until like the end, really. Like, we see them killing within the bonfire, but you don't really see the killings. You see blood splattering everywhere, people yelling, screaming, that first person stuff. And then you see, like, the eyes and everything, and their cheekbones get a little morphed. And then Michael is looking at that, and his instincts are just saying like, attack, attack, and he's trying to fight it. But I thought that keeping that a mystery until the end when we see them, played a really good, like plot driven, like, played a really good role in that movie, and keeping us on our toes, like, can't wait to see them, like, what the fuck is gonna happen next.
It gives you that air of mystery of like, what do they look like? What
Mm-hmm.
are their true features? Like, what is the actual monster?
Right.
And that
Yeah.
again plays on the mystery and the appeal. It's
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm glad we have that in common. Like, the Lost Boys is up there for me.
It's up there. Like, I feel like that's one of the must-see vampire movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if someone goes, vampire movie, which one should I see? Lost Boys, then talk to me later.
And if you've already seen it, then we can go from there. But if you
Then-
haven't seen it,
then we'll
stop
open
what
it
you're
up.
doing, watch
Right.
that, then we'll
Then
go.
it's like, okay, you've seen it. Do you like it? Okay, now go watch like Interview with the Vampire. Go watch like, like. But Tommy, what is your favorite vampire movies, or like top 3 or something?
It's Lost Boys.
Lost Boys. There we go.
Lost
So
Boys
we're
is
all
the-
Animus.
Lost Boys is the fucking shit, man. Everything about it is just, nearly perfection to me. Great soundtrack too. It's an '80s fucking movie. We got some good fucking soundtrack. We got People is Strange. We got the Doors in there.
People is Strange.
We got and a good fucking cast. We learn as well in this movie. We learn about the lore of vampires from Corey Feldman and Corey Haim as well. This made me hate the name Michael in a sense, because this fucking Michael. But how about the fact that Kiefer Sutherland is one badass motherfucker in this? Richie Rich's father,
Yeah.
by the way, is the main vampire. So cheers to that shit.
And the twist, like, I didn't even mention it. Like, the twist at the end when everyone thought it was Keith or Sutherland.
Yeah, they thought he was the main vampire. No, it's Richie Rich's
Yeah.
dad.
Yep.
Yep, Richie Rich's dad.
It was Richie Rich's father. And we were like, what the fuck? Like,
Don't fight. It's so much better when you don't fight.
it's so good, because to me, like, the Lost Boys is the Warriors of fucking vampire movies. Like, the Warriors is, you especially coming from New York, the Warriors is a New York movie. Coney Island, Brooklyn, it hits at all spots. But when you watch Lost Boys, you're like, this is the Warriors, just fucking vampires,
Yep, in Santa Clara.
In Santa Clara. And everything about it it's just too good. And you said like a top 3, so like if I had to do even the top 3, number 2 would be Fright Night, because Fright Night is fucking awesome. Chris Sarandon's in fucking Fright Night, and he's the main vampire, and he's fucking amazing in that movie.
Yeah, Fright Night's great.
He's like the perfect fucking Dracula, perfect vampire whenever I see it. So I fucking
I have
love
a question
that movie.
with you with Fright Night. Did you like the remake.
Yes, the remake was good. They did a very good job with it. I think Colin Farrell was fucking great in it. They changed it. They updated it in a sense to where Colin Farrell was more like a badass, because Chris Sarandon wasn't badass. He was elegant. He was like fancy, but he took no shit. Like, you fucked with him, there was a problem. But with Colin Farrell, he was like, listen, you step over my fucking line, I'm going to kill you.
Yep,
and that's with and what's his face, Anton Yelchin was in it. He was great in it as well. It was there's not many remakes that are good. That was a good one. They did a very good job. It's not better than the original, but it's still good. 1,000%. And number 3 would definitely be from Dusk Till Dawn. I mean,
yeah.
That fucking because you don't know it's coming. You have no idea this is a vampire movie. I remember when I first watched it, and you get fucking George Clooney, badass George Clooney with his fucking tat. Like when you look on that, you're like, I want that tattoo. That's badass. Okay, and you got Quentin Tarantino, who's just a freak and a half, fucking weirdo like he is, and you're just like, oh, this is just like a robbery kind of movie. These fucking guys are like just pieces of shit. They get to this fucking big ass fucking bar spot in Texas with fucking Cheech Martin there. Pussy, pussy, pussy. You want some pussy? Come inside. I give you some pussy. And you're sitting there watching this shit like, what am I watching? Will you walk in there? Bartender, Danny Trejo. All right, let's go. This shit looks fucking wild. You have so many people in that movie. Tom Savini's in that fucking movie. You got the cock fucking gun that pops up. If I'm not mistaken, isn't Jim Brown in the movie? Oh, I know one of the football players is in the movie. I might not be Jim Brown, but he's in the fucking movie. Look at that fucking cast. That cast is fantastic. And then when Selma Hayek comes in, the movie is just, hello, how are you? And of course, Quentin Tarantino, freak that he is, got to have her put her fucking foot in the mouth. Like, nasty fucking little bastard. But then I'm jealous at the same time. He's a nasty bastard, but I'm jealous, okay? Because that's not fair.
I would do it.
That's not fucking
That's not fair. I mean, it's not fair.
Dude, this is written by Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. This is directed by Robert Rodriguez. And then it goes from this fucking movie to a vampire movie. And you go, whoa, hold on a second. This is a vampire movie? Let's fucking go. That whole movie is just fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Dude, fucking great.
Yeah, it's great. And I feel like
why don't they have a house at HHN? Like, I want to go with
because
that
if you don't have Selma Hayek, I don't want to be in there.
Right.
That's a good point.
I agree.
It's a really good point.
That is a very good point. That is
and the snake.
Point. That is the point.
Of course. I mean, they could probably get the snake, but like they can't get the Selma Hayek.
I think Selma Hayek and the snake are like such a joint thing. Like, I don't want one or the other. I need both.
Yeah.
She was
even if I don't have the snake.
Well, actually,
if I have
even if I
Selma
don't have
Hayek,
a snake,
I'm still in there.
I'll bring the snake. You know?
Yes, you can bring. That's what I'm saying. You bring.
I'll bring the snake. Don't worry about it.
She's gonna be there waiting for you. I mean, she put her foot. I mean, I know he was the one that decided to do this, but she put her foot in his mouth and then poured tequila on it like it was a foot shot.
Poured tequila down her leg to
that's fucking hot. Like that's foot and mouth.
I would never ask for that, but if she did it,
I'd be okay. You'd be like,
yes.
Just look.
You'd be like, absolutely.
And then she turns into a vampire, and you're like, and she looked like a lizard.
At that point,
though.
like,
would you still
fill me with more tequila? I'll be your actual body shot.
I'm all for it. Yeah. Like I would be like, absolutely. Like when she turns into the vampire, I'm still going, no, she's still hot. Like it doesn't change anything.
And that's the thing, right? Like I've seen few vampires, and I'm just like, yeah, Harvey still would. I don't know. I rolled the dice. Maybe she won't bite me.
Fred Wilson.
That's just not in the way to hurt me.
Fred Wilson. He's
like if a vampire is going to bite me, I don't care. Just please kill me.
Really? See,
keep me alive.
I'm for the, maybe let me bite you, and then we can.
I bite you, you bite me. Like
then we can bite other people's later when I turn. Like like we can. I
think I'd be okay with the turn from her, Selma Hayek, because I'd be like, could we smash now? Like,
yeah, now I'm just like, wait a minute, so we can actually do stuff.
Now we can do shit.
All right, first thing you need to do
after 1,000 years.
First thing,
and I'll be happy for 1,000 years, and then I'll be okay
for 100 years.
I'd be dead. Well, she dies anyway in the movie.
Well, yeah.
I got so pissed off when they killed her. I was like, wait, why are we killing her? Like, this is like fucking the one with
It makes for a
Aaliyah.
good fucking movie.
It does, but we needed more. We needed her more.
We needed more tequila.
Even without
feet.
her,
That's
it was
what we
still
need.
great. But like, I think it would have been
More
great. to have her.
tequila feet.
We need
Happy
more
We need
Cinco
more
de
tequila
Mayo.
feet.
For real.
Yep. Happy Cinco de Mayo. We
There you
need more
go.
tequila feet.
Jesus
Sorry.
Christ. Yum yum.
We need more Selma Hayek tequila feet.
Yum yum. She was delicious in that movie.
Yep. But yeah, man. All right. So let's name like maybe one or two more, because I know we've all kind of had like uniformed here, which is great. But anyone else want to throw another one in there that needs to be mentioned right now?
30 Days of Night.
I just recently watched that. Rewatched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a second one.
We don't talk about the second one because
I didn't even know it existed, so
Didn't
that's
know
how I
either.
feel about it. But
Didn't know.
I love 30 Days of Night. I think it was different. It's worth mentioning that is the ravenous side of vampires. Imagine not being able to eat for all that time because it's just daylight hours, 24 hours a day, and then finally you get 30 days of absolute fucking darkness where you just get to be a rabid killing machine.
They go
yeah, you
nuts
talk
in
about a
that movie.
premise in a movie with
It's fucking
vampires.
great.
That's like the ultimate premise, right? It's just like as a vampire, what about if it was nighttime all the time?
It's
You know what I
a
mean?
terrible conundrum for the humans involved, but even
Mhm.
just for the vampires of like, do you want to cut out your entire food supply
Yeah.
in 30 days?
Right. Yeah. Well, they do say, I know, when it becomes night and shit starts happening, they literally look at each other and go, why haven't we been here? We should have been here from the beginning. Like, they didn't realize that it's like, oh, we could have just fucking stayed here, killed
Yeah.
every motherfucker, and then waited until the next time. We would have been good.
Yep.
Yeah, right. It's almost like fasting, you know?
Exactly. Hibernating.
But the
Hibernation.
more vampires fast, the weaker they get.
That's right.
Right. Right.
You
Yeah,
could
no,
save
I
them.
think-
Save some people.
Save
Save
them
some
and
people.
keep them down in your lair.
Just a couple. I mean, it's frozen in there, so you just heat them up.
ration.
Yeah.
You
Heat 'em
just
up when you
ration.
need.
You're good. Heat them up when you're ready. Like, all right.
Yeah.
Light a
You just
little
pop a
fire.
human in the microwave,
Yeah,
take an arm
that's it.
out.
That little fire. Like, all right, here we go. That was good.
Just melt
It's like
it out
a
a
like
bit.
a little hot pocket.
Yeah. Ooh. Little arm hot pocket.
Little
I
hot
like
pocket.
that.
Throw some fingers in the microwave, have some
Ooh,
little hors
that's-
d'oeuvre.
That's like a little snack. That's a little hors d'oeuvre. Yeah.
It's delicious.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, 30 Days a Night is great. I love the premise. I love how they flipped it on it. So it's just like, all right, well, there's no telling when you're safe, right? Because in all these other movies leading up to that, right, Dave's always like, all right, well, sun's coming up. They're gonna have to go away and we're safe for a little bit. You know, this one is just like there's nowhere to run, bitch. Like, you know, and on top of that, like it was some great kills and a lot of blood.
It's
So-
very gory.
Yeah, which makes it
Love my
amazing.
gore.
Oh yeah, we're gore whores, you know. So here at Night School Horror, we are gore whores.
We are gore
That's a
horse.
sticker in the making.
yeah. I want to pivot a little bit to two movies that kind of like go to the kind of like what you were alluding to, Sabrina, how like if you're gonna bite me, don't turn me, just kill me, because of that moral conflict. And you see a lot of those in these two movies. I'm gonna mention is Let the Right One In
Great movie.
and Interview with the Vampire.
Another great movie.
Yeah, I say those because those are movies that conflict. They showcase the confliction of living eternally and living eternally in that body that you were turned in. Like in Let the Right Ones In and Kristen Dunst Interview with the Vampire, they were children when they got bitten and turned, and now they're forever going to be in this body looking like a preteen.
Well,
You know,
in Let the Right One In, there's a scene where she kind of does this like weird warp to him, and you can't tell that it looks like it's actually a grown ass man. And that's what like a lot of people have questioned, and that scene because it's like, wait, is it a child or is it just coming off that way? Is it like a thing in his head, like that he sees
Is it
this?
the illusion stuff?
Yeah, like
that also brings back their shapeshifting.
the shit. Right.
And they
Because that's what
shapeshift
plays
into something else.
That's what plays a factor in that one. The other one, the American version that they did, which I think was Let Me In
With Chloe, yeah, with
yeah,
Chloe.
she was a kid. Like they made
She
that
was a
clear,
kid.
she was a kid.
Yes.
But that's why I like the original one better. Besides the fact that it's just way more dramatic and it's slow,
Better.
but it's fucking tight too. And like that one scene when she does that fucking turn like a shape shifting thing, and you're even watching, and you're like, wait a minute, that's no fucking little girl. So
Yeah.
I like that a lot. But I agree too with Interview with a Vampire because Kirsten Dunst literally gets fucking pissed, which is like, I'm a kid for the rest of my life. Will never be able to fucking have sex, like any of this shit, because she's a child.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, she's in love with Brad Pitt, and it's just like, no, you're a fucking kid. And it's like, why would you do
It's
this
just
to
like,
me?
no, I've been alive for 100 years.
Yeah, but you're still a child.
How long have
But
you
you're
been
still
a
a
kid?
child.
Yeah.
150 years.
That's horrible.
200 years.
That's
1,000.
terrible.
Like
That's terrible.
Yeah,
you have
and
to
it's
play the
terrible.
part of a child, knowing all of the information that you do,
Mm-hmm.
being as smart as you are, knowing your desires as you have them as a vampire, and there's nothing you can do about it because you're just a
You're
kid,
stuck as a child.
and everyone will see you as a kid forever.
Mhm. Yeah. And you just talk about, that hints on those like moral conflicts right there, just like, what do you do in that situation, and of course, like Brad Pitt, when he's just like doesn't want to kill anymore. And, and Tom Cruise, who is, fucking Lestat is Brad Pitt. And
No, Lestat is Tom Cruise.
Lestat is Tom Cruise. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yes. Lestat is Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise is just all about this vampire life. And, Brad Pitt at one point was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And it's like, well, then you're going to die, and it just goes to the point where it's just like, well, like, what do you do then? Us as humans, when we don't want to do anything or we feel uncomfortable and we could stop and just move on and try to find another way to live. When you're a vampire and you have to do this thing to survive, you know what I mean? Like, what now? You can't have vegan blood,
Right.
So yeah, I think those were really great examples of like that moral conflict, but also with those two, like that sensual, sexy, like, kind of like feel to it too, because Interview with a Vampire is very like sexy. You know what I mean? Like it's sleek and like hip, and
It draws you in.
It draws you in, and this movie's what, like 3 hours long? No, it's 2 hours and 3 minutes. But it feels
long.
Just, it takes you it feels long.
It feels long.
Right. But I feel like the ending of it too, when the interview is pretty much over and he's driving and they just like kind of get him. It's almost like that was the whole play all along. Like, I'm gonna literally hypnotize you and tell you the story because then I'm just gonna have you. So I thought the satire in there was actually really great. And then just Let the Right One In is just another iteration of just like living among us, and it's just like, what do you do? Like, do you still have morals? Like, when Ravenous and everything else and 30 Days of Night and everything happened, this one is more like grounded. And it goes to the point where it's just like, you think about it and it's just like, well, kids are naive, very naive, and they kind of believe everything. Why wouldn't vampires go to them to like have their food source instead of like trying to get a grown ass person? You know what I mean? Like,
it's more that story is more. That's what makes it also really good, is because a lot of people watch the movie and they'll think it's love story. And it sort of kind of is a love story, but in the sense, is it a love story? Because what she's truly doing, or whatever it is, we don't know if it's a guy or a girl. We're going to say she because as the girl, there's a girl that plays it.
Yep.
The form that it takes.
Yeah, the form that it takes is actually looking for its successor. That's who's going to be like its caretaker now.
Yeah,
that's what makes it interesting, because when she ends up killing the original caretaker and then she's with the boy. It feels like a love story when you watch it. You're like, this is a love story. But we don't know the true motive of the movie.
Right.
We don't know the true motive. She leaves and then comes back for him and saves him. That fucking scene is great at the end with the pool scene.
In the water, yep.
When they're drowning the kid, and then out of nowhere, you just see fucking a hand here, a head here, blood there, and then she picks him up, and they smile, and that's the end of the movie. So a lot of people could not tell, is it a love story, or is it just a selfish fucking thing that she's like, no, I picked you, and you're stuck with me until eventually I kill you, just like she did with the other caretakers. That's why I really like that movie.
Yeah, no, I thought that movie is like top notch.
This is a top notch.
There's so much I could
film.
say about that movie.
Yeah, I mean, we could have a whole episode on that movie.
Oh yeah.
And we should actually. Yeah, just rounding off the movies right now, I'm gonna just like name off some like action movies or like comedy movies that are the vampire genre that I think personally are amazing, and I'm pretty sure you guys do too. I mean, there's Blade, obviously the trilogy.
Yep.
1 and 2 mostly. 3 was kind of meh.
Yeah.
But yeah, 1 and 2 are amazing. They really took the action and like, you know, anti-hero stuff really well and saved Marvel. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I mean, it was hilarious. That whole scene at the end where she stabs him and he's like, ooh, like it was fucking hilarious to this day. And then the credits go and everything is done. And the first post-credit scene I've ever seen in my life, well, one of them I've ever seen in my life, was him still going, and it was fucking hilarious. I thought that was really, and Luke Perry's in the movie. Yeah, it's a funny movie. It's really funny. It led to, you know, them having one of the best TV shows, vampire TV shows of all time with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We'll get to it. And then another one, I don't know if you guys know this, but Once Bitten.
Yeah.
That was Jim Carrey.
Holy shit with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey, yeah.
A lot of people don't know about that movie, man, but that movie
I enjoyed
is
that movie.
It's
hilarious.
wild. Yeah, it's funny.
You know, he's like working at the butcher, like in the supermarket. He's getting like pints of blood, and he has that one time that one girl. He's in high school, so this is young Jim Carrey, and you know, he goes to that the woman's house, and had a night. So it turns out that they didn't even have sex, and he turned into a vampire. But yeah, no, that movie's great, guys. If you haven't seen it, please see it.
I'd like to suggest one. I don't know if you've seen this movie. Have you seen Vampire's Kiss?
No.
Oh my God. Okay, so it's Nicolas Cage.
Sold.
What? I know. I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, right.
Just watch the movie.
Sold.
Listen to me. It's
Nicolas Cage in
Nicolas
a vampire
Cage.
movie
Okay.
that's
so
in Renfield. Sold.
fucking
Got
funny
it.
because I'll give you a little bit, but you got to watch it. So what happens is he thinks
1988, huh?
He thinks he's turning into a vampire. That's all you have to know.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Done.
it's fucking wild. It's Nick Cage at Nick Cage. It's just weird shit happening, and he's just acting a fucking fool. It's really good though. Like really good. It's one of his first like films. One of his first films.
1988 the movie
Done.
came out. Wow.
Yeah, oh, it's fucking great.
Definitely watching.
Must watch. Vampire's Kiss.
Definitely watching that.
Must watch.
Of course we have like we have like Underworld, which is a good movie. They kind of went crazy when they, you know, kept going. It was just cash grab, but Underworld was
I wasn't
great.
happy with Underworld after. First one.
Yeah, after like the first two, yeah, I'll even give you the third one. But either way, yeah, I gotta watch Vampire's Kiss, and the last one, Vampire in Brooklyn.
Yeah, very good. That's a good one.
Eddie Murphy
as a
Angela
vampire.
Bassett. Have you seen this, Sabrina?
It sounds familiar, but I can't
All
say
right,
for
well,
sure that I have. The
It's a
minute you
goodie.
said Eddie Murphy and Angela Bassett, I'm like, why is this clicking?
this movie's great.
It's
All right,
very funny.
I'll have to put
It's-
it on the rewatch list.
it's basically a vampire in Brooklyn,
Yeah, Vampire in Brooklyn.
and we're
A
talking
good one.
about like 90s Brooklyn, and it's hilarious.
It works.
It stays true to the lore of vampires. They have the shape shifting ability, because he turns into a few other people in this movie. He has a ghoul, which is basically his caretaker. You know, and yeah, the movie's pretty great.
Yeah.
So
that's,
yeah,
that's a good one. Dracula Dead and Loving It. I want to throw that one out there too.
That's a good one.
That's
Yes.
a Mel Brooks film, you know, and you got Leslie Nielsen in it, and it's so fucking funny, but sticks to the lore of Dracula, and it's really funny. It's so fucking stupid funny.
It's really fun.
It's
He
a good time.
loses a tooth in that movie, and like, anyway, it's so good. It's so good.
It's a must watch,
It's
It is.
definitely a must watch,
especially if you
I
like
think,
Mel Brooks films.
Yeah, which I think we all do. But yeah, let's steer. Does anyone else want to mention any other vampire movies or like that you like or you don't like?
I mean, if we're going into don't like, I feel like that's a category in itself. But just as an
Yeah.
honorable mention of ones that I liked, Daybreakers. It's
Mhm.
very different. Ethan Hawke. It played a different side of it. And again, it's that moral conundrum of the immortality side.
Yeah.
Kind of like
That's a good one.
once when the whole world is no longer viable as a food source because humans are obsolete, what do you do? Because
Right.
you've just lived long enough. And,
To
conflict
see that
ensues.
happen.
But
Yep.
that one's an honorable mention. It's worth it. At least
Yeah,
one.
no, it's a good honorable. Yeah, let's talk about movies that suck as vampire movies. Before we get to the elephant in the room, the sparkling elephant in the room, I'm gonna mention Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah, that was a disappointment.
That
I feel like because of the sparkly elephant in the room, it stemmed a whole long list of terrible vampire movies in a genre that didn't need to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And does anyone else want any other ones to add before we get to the sparkly elephant?
I'll add one movie that I feel was it was a disappointment when I watched it. I thought it was going to be so much better, and it was Queen of the Damned. I was disappointed
Yes.
in Queen of the Damned because not enough Aaliyah.
Yeah.
And we needed that. And that's actually the prequel to Interview with a Vampire. Like
Yes.
way before, because that's Tom Cruise's character. And I like the movie. I like when if it's on, you're like, but you want to get to the end. You want to get to when she shows up, and it takes forever for her to fucking show up, and it doesn't last that long. And I think that movie,
Yeah, so,
they should redo that movie and do it right, because I know it's a book.
They should definitely do it.
And
Yeah,
I was
funny that you
disappointed
mentioned
with it.
So
It's funny
Yeah,
that
so
you mentioned
I've-
that.
Oh wow, that was
Sorry.
cool. You guys said it twice at the same time.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I remember Queen of the Damned was one of the first movies that was introduced to me, like way back when, as a vampire movie, and I was so upset with it that I did not watch Interview with a Vampire for a very, very long time, and I feel like I was
And that's
cheated out of that,
unfortunate.
and I
Yep.
like to blame Queen of the Damned for that.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate. I do feel the same sentiment. I remember watching this. This movie came out on my birthday. So I remember
Wow.
going to the movies and watching it first because I was a huge Aaliyah fan. And she just recently passed away. And two, because I read all the Anne Rice books. Well, not all of them. There's a lot. I read the original trilogy. I read Vampire Lestat, Queen of the Damned, and Interview with the Vampire. So this movie is the Vampire Lestat and Queen of the Damned tied together, which they didn't need to do that. They definitely should have just gave us two movies. But I also got to defend it a little bit, not to say that it wasn't good, no, bad, because it was. It was not it let me down. But the reason why we didn't get a lot of Aaliyah is because she passed away
Yeah, she died
before she was able to finish recording the movie.
and do the
So-
reshoots and whatnot.
Yeah, so they finished kind of like the basis of the movie, and they had way more scenes with her in it. But some of the things didn't work because of the editing and everything, that they had to reshoot it with her, and they didn't have her. So the technology wasn't as advanced as there is now, where they can CGI shit. So they kind of just gave us what they had.
That's why I say do it
You
again.
know,
Do it again.
Yeah, I say do it again. And if you was to recast the Queen of the Damned, who would it be?
That's a tough question.
Yeah. Well, just a little food for thought, you know?
It's a tough. That's a oof.
I
Yeah.
feel like I'd
I
have to
don't
sit
know.
with that for a minute.
Yeah,
I would have
you
to sit with that
on
for
that one.
a while.
Definitely have to sit on that one.
You can't just be like Rihanna. I'm going Rihanna. Like no,
No.
Beyonce. No, shut the fuck up.
To be honest with you, I don't really. She's a little awkward sometimes, but maybe this could be kind of like her coming out role. Maybe Zendaya.
See, you say that, and I've seen her in a bunch of like action kind of alluring films, and I could see it.
Mhm.
I think it would all depend on who the other cast members are
Yeah,
for her
Yeah.
to work.
she's got to be
Yeah,
able to.
for sure.
She's good when she works with people well.
Yes.
Yep.
She can't be that
When
main
she works
guy.
well with people, she's top tier, but
She's not the person.
Right.
She's
Yeah.
not the queen of the damned, but she might
Right,
be able to
right.
be good at, because I feel if you were to remake it, you would give, there
she's
would
like
be
the
more
princess
queen.
of the damned.
Yeah, she'd be a princess of the damned. I can see
Yeah.
that.
Well,
Makes
you
sense.
also have to recast the stat and everyone else too. So like you would have to just.
That'd be a
I mean,
fun. We
I'd
could
have
do
to
that.
sit
It could
with
be a
that.
fun episode.
Yeah, that'd be a fun episode just to recast it. But yeah, there was some really good qualities in that movie that they just didn't really come into fruition. And I feel like if we still had the late great Aaliyah, this movie would have been a little better than what it was. But yeah, I mean the Anne Rice books are top notch, top notch. But yeah, it's sad that we have to mention that movie as one of the bad vampire movies. But it's not the bad vampire movie. It's not the vampire franchise.
No.
Because what we're going to do, we're going to bring to light the sparkly elephant in the room, and we're going to talk about none other than Twilight.
Boo.
Yep, we had a moment of silence for them because they suck.
I did not like this movie. Movie.
You know,
I
they
didn't
made
like
they made a
anything
spoof
in this
movie
movie.
called Vampires Suck because of Twilight.
Yeah, I didn't see it,
So, I
but
mean-
yeah.
I definitely did not. I was done, I think,
Don't
with
worry.
those fucking
That
scary
spoof movie
things.
sucked as well, but
That makes sense.
I'm just
So I
gonna
saw the
lead
first
off.
one,
Yeah.
and it was just a little awkward. It was always awkward because like Kristen Stewart is an awkward person.
I don't like
but
her.
I something about her.
I just never liked her.
For me.
She just
I like
looks
her
like
in
a miserable
these
fuck.
new
fuck.
films. I don't know. I
The
don't
only movie
like
I
her
liked her in
anything
was
previous.
Zathura. That's it.
Yeah, she was a kid.
Yeah, that's
I
the
li-
only movie I like. Of
I
her.
liked her in The Runaways. She was a
Yeah,
really
I
good.
I liked her in The Runaways.
She was
I
a
liked her
really
in
good Joan Jett.
Underwater.
Well, also because Joan Jett is awkward and punk rockish.
That's why I mean she was a really good Joan Jett. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I haven't seen any really
She
new
has
films
good
with her.
newer movies. She's just
not
not good.
what
She's
is it?
not good at this
Underwater.
part.
What is
Underwater. I
that?
loved
That
her in
movie was
Underwater.
good.
I
But
didn't
I
see
also
that.
feel like the movie was good just because the movie was good and not her for the most part. But
Oh yeah,
she was good.
I feel like she played that part well. It wasn't like, oh, she's the only one that could play that part, but it's like for the part that she was given, she played it to the best of her ability. And I feel like she's matured in a way, so it's getting better with it. It's just not good. Like,
Yeah.
just
So going
saying
back to
the
Twilight.
whole franchise, it like
Well, you know what? Robert Pattinson has proven that he's Twilight no more,
Right.
and that's what
did you
matters.
realize that like even when he was doing those movies, he hated them so
Oh,
much
he
that when he
hated
did
them.
interviews,
Yeah,
he straight up would
hated-
just steer the conversation.
Yeah, he never
He
wanted
did not
to talk
want to
about
be a part of it.
Just paycheck. He got a paycheck,
He made money. That was it.
lots of money.
Yeah, wasn't that like his breakthrough role too though? Like
Mhm.
like the first movie? Like
Was it?
I'm pretty
I don't
sure
know,
that's
yeah.
where I first
I'm
heard his
pretty
name.
sure. That's the first time I seen him too, yeah.
I was like, "Who's this guy? He's sparkly vampire. I don't like him."
He's so here's
Now
my
he's
thing,
Batman.
right? I remember being on a date watching this movie, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna see some vampires. Sure, it's a love story. Something's gonna happen. We're gonna see blood. It's gonna be good. It's all right. I like vampires. Let's do this. I'm also gonna get some action in the movie theater. None of that happened, including the action in the movie theater, because this girl loved it so fucking much. And I remember them going on a date, and the first time we saw that he was sparkly, I got up. I didn't leave. I should have. But I got up and I was like, all right, I'm going to the bathroom. Because they built it up for 20 minutes, 30 minutes even, almost an hour. You're not gonna like me. I'm not ordinary. Like my true form is gonna scare you, and this and this. And I'm like, all right, here we go. Mind you, we've getting similar conversations in let the right ones in and all that other shit. Is like, yo, I'm not normal. I'm not like other people. My true form will scare you. All that shit. Like I've seen this dialogue before, so I'm like, all right, we're gonna get some shit. We're gonna get some shit. And then when he takes her and he runs up the fucking woods, and then he shows sparkliness. That fucked me up, man. That fucked me up, and I was out. I was out for the rest of the time. I was out.
It no longer made a monster. It made it this beautiful thing. And it wasn't
Right.
until you see him kill something, and it's not even him. Who was it? It was like his brother, but not his brother because they were
Yeah, it
adopted.
was his
I don't
brother.
remember this
That's
character's name.
it
Who the
was
fuck-
it was
hold
one
on.
of his brothers because he was like the badass.
Fucking
He was-
Jasper.
whatever.
The
Jasper.
really quiet, the really
The
quiet, weird one.
brolic one, right?
It wasn't until you see him kill something where you're like, oh, he's a fucking monster.
But he didn't
But,
really
like,
again. This movie,
wasn't-
they didn't
They
show any
played
blood.
They play baseball in the movie.
They show
Okay,
blood.
vampire
just-
baseball.
It's very minimal.
This movie's
Very minimal.
whack.
Because it's not a monster movie. It's a romance movie.
It is.
Yeah,
It is
Yeah.
a romantic film. And here was the one thing, because I remember I'm the same way. I saw it on a date. And I thought to myself, because, movie guy, baby. And I was like, there's got to be more to this. I didn't read the
There's
books.
gotta be more.
Like, I never read the
Me
books.
neither.
I didn't want to read the books, and I don't plan to ever read the books. But as I seen the first one, I was like, okay, that was trash. And they were like, oh, no, but there's a new one coming out. What's the new one? It's called New Moon, and there's werewolves. Oh, okay. All right. We got some werewolves in this shit. And then I went and sat there, and I watched that movie, and I'm going, this is the same thing. Just added a
just
fucking
now.
werewolf, and now it's a fucking love triangle. And now I'm sitting
Yeah.
there going like, but here's the thing. Then the girl goes to me, well, there's more. And I'm like, well, I gotta keep going because like eventually we're going to get somewhere.
We're gonna get somewhere.
I am going to invest myself to this trash that you're putting on the screen, but eventually I will sit there and be like, okay, we got somewhere. We never got there. It was a fucking dream when we did sort of get there. So we never got there
and
because we
then-
took it back.
Then we didn't get any blood in that war in the dream.
I don't like this fucking franchise. This movie is stupid. It was a fucking plot ploy to make fucking money, hence Team Jacob or Team, what was it? Edward. So, and I sat there
What
and I was
about
like,
Team Charlie?
Charlie was
leave this
gay.
fucking movie out Charlie was
Charlie?
gay.
Charlie
The
was
dad?
gay.
Oh no,
I
not
don't give
the
a
dad.
fuck. I just want the dad who's the only sensible one saying, Bella, what the fuck are you doing?
Wait,
with this
who's her
weirdness?"
friend again? Am I thinking the wrong one? Charlie's the dad.
Charlie's her dad.
No, fuck
The
him.
cop dad with the mustache and the shotgun.
Yeah, okay,
Oh, yeah.
who's the friend though? She has a friend.
I don't know.
She had that.
I'll tell you guys right
He was
now.
gay.
You two know way more than I do already.
No, I mean I don't know whose friend was gay.
There was a
or-
friend, and he was
I don't
gay.
really-
No, but y'all have been going
I gotta
on about
check
like,
that. It's
oh,
gonna
this
bother
second
me.
movie or this third. I was introduced because my best friend at the time read the books, loved this, and she was like, no, you gotta see it, you gotta see it. Her boyfriend took her to see her first movie, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll go. I went with another friend, watched the first one. I laughed once, and then the rest of it, I was like, all right, I don't need to see anymore. My then boyfriend took me to see the second one, saying, well, I thought you really wanted to see it. I'm like, when did I ever say I wanted to see this? So I sat in the theater thinking we were going to make out, and when we didn't, I took a very expensive nap.
It's Mike.
Yeah.
There you go. Mike's the friend.
The rest of the shit, I never saw the rest of the series. I never did. I don't care. I watched the first one, part of the second one. The rest of it is meme culture to me, so I love the memes.
I don't
That's it.
remember the third
I don't
one.
know any rest.
I don't really remember.
So when you're talking
all
about
the
a
stuff
war
that
and blood, I'm
happened.
like, holy shit! Wait,
so
there
the
was a
war. So the
There was-
war happened.
Hello?
Yeah. So the war happened. I think it was the last one, right? So then, like, at this time, I'm with Itzy now, and like, she loves it. She loves the books. She reads them. She has the hardcover collection book,
Gross.
like the books, and like she was hyped. This is whatever. So I'm like, I know what's gonna happen. Like, we're gonna get a war. Like, we're gonna have vampires versus werewolves. And I was like, fuck yeah, underworld, baby, let's do this. And I proceed to watch this quote unquote war in the woods in snow. Johnny Depp's in this, right? Is he in this?
What?
Johnny
Is he?
Depp's
No,
in this.
I'm thinking the wrong. Who's
That's
there's,
Harry
like, famous
Potter. He
people.
was.
Yeah, you're right. My bad.
I was like, hold up. hold
Sorry.
up.
Someone
That's the other Robert
people are
Pattinson
in
movie.
it. Sorry, I don't give a fuck. Anyway, I proceed to watch this, and they're like cutting people, and like they're just like disappearing. They're hollow, and then Yeah, yeah, yeah. They like fade away and shit like that, and then like it ends, and then Bella wakes up, and you're like, wait, what happened?
It was a
And it
dream.
was a dream, but the dream and the war, we didn't get any blood. Then this bitch is pregnant. We don't know who the baby daddy is.
And then he
And then-
goes and Jacob implants like that like werewolf kind of thing on the baby so that he falls in
so
love
now
with
he
the baby.
claims the baby.
Like-
This is the
like,
weird
when-
meme culture thing where it's like he imprints on her
Yes,
and then
yeah.
yes.
nicknames
So
her
now
after
when
the
the
Loch Ness
baby-
monster.
Yeah, I don't-
Yeah, so now when the baby
fucking
grows
weird.
up,
the
he
baby's for
gets
him.
first dibs on
Yeah,
the baby,
yes.
like
What?
on the
Yes.
girl.
And
Yeah,
she was okay
yeah.
with this.
And she's like, you
just
know
like,
what? You're
it's all
okay.
good.
You're fine. Yeah,
She goes,
you can
it's
have
all
my
good. You
seed.
just take your shirt off. It's all good.
Yeah. It's so fucking stupid.
I don't
It-
like
Can I
it
just
made
remind
me-
everyone that a fanfic of Twilight sparked 50 Shades of Grey?
which is also shit.
Which is
So
also trash.
can we just say like the only thing that came out of Twilight was shit, and more shit?
Robert Pattinson.
Robert
Yeah.
Pattinson didn't come out of Twilight. He came out of Harry Potter, I'm going to say.
What? He
Came,
wasn't in Harry Potter.
he was.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was.
Cedric Diggory.
He's
Holy
Cedric,
Oh,
man. He
yeah,
gets killed.
yeah, my
he's
bad,
he's
my bad. You are right. You're right. You're right. He's in the Goblet of Fire. You're right.
Yeah.
He dies.
He dies, man.
He dies. He's what turns the whole fucking shit where like he gets killed and
he's
you
the
go,
catalyst.
oh my God.
Yeah.
the
Like
catalyst.
when they come
He is
back
the
and
catalyst.
Harry's holding him crying and they're like, what? Cedric, what happened? It was
My
him.
boy.
It was him.
My boy.
It was Voldemort. Even though Voldemort's not the one that killed him, but
No.
he
It
didn't.
was his forces.
He told
It was the force
he told
of
him
the
he was
vote.
like, you do it now. Avada Kedavra.
He, def-
Yeah.
he definitely got a Valakanaba.
He did.
But yeah, he was in the Goblet of Fire.
He was
But,
in
I
it.
mean,
But he's Batman.
everyone knows.
He's
Yeah, he's
Batman.
He's Batman now.
He's
Yeah.
Batman. So good
Yeah.
for him.
He went from breaking my heart in Harry Potter to breaking my heart in Twilight, not the good way or the bad way, just the I can't believe you did this way. He feels the same. It's fine. Breaking my heart again in the drama love story Remember Me.
Oh
about
my God,
9/11
that
I
movie.
fucking
Oh, yeah,
couldn't
the
handle
September
because I
11th one
didn't
at
know
the
it was
end.
about 9/11.
Yeah, 9/11
And
at
then
the
he
end.
broke my heart again.
And then,
yeah.
and then,
And now
was
he's
bra-
Batman.
He was
And now he's
also in
breaking-
Water for Elephants. He was in a
He
circus
was
movie.
in
Yes.
Water for Elephants.
He was.
Yes, he was.
plays. He played a type, and now he's Batman. And
He's fucking
I'm
Batman.
not mad at it.
And now
Batman.
he's breaking hands and legs.
He's great as Batman too.
Breaking spine.
Very good
Yeah.
Batman.
So, I
He's a
mean,
good
I'm not
Batman.
mad at it.
the Batman.
I'm okay
He's a
with
good
that.
Good for him. That's progression, and we have
Yeah.
to give
Yeah.
him a lot of like props for that progression.
I recognize him for that.
Yeah, because
Twilight
the
no more.
werewolf, Tyler,
Yeah.
what's his name? Tyler Durden?
Taylor
No,
Lautner.
Taylor Lautner.
Who
He-
also married a girl named Taylor, so now it's Taylor Lautner and Taylor
So
Lautner.
weird.
Yeah,
You
weird.
could tell he's a weird fucking guy. His career went
Yeah.
nowhere.
Nowhere.
He went nowhere.
You know what it was? It was him calling dibs on a child. That's what it was.
Yeah, that'll ruin you as a person.
People were just like, "That's weird."
I
Tyler.
would love that child right there, buddy. Like, wait, hold on a second. You
Yo, that
fucking
baby,
freak.
when it grows up,
It's me.
I'm gonna marry it.
It's all me. I'm gonna turn into a wolf.
Hello?
Gorgeous.
And you're like,
Hello?
oh, this is.
Oh my
just-
God! And the one other thing that I have to mention about Twilight, the fucking CGI baby
Oh, ha!
that they
I
try
saw
to make it
pictures
look
of this.
like in between it, like try to make it look like both Kristen Stewart and fucking
Have you seen the doll?
Robert Patterson. No, there's a
No,
doll.
I didn't even know there was a
So
doll.
apparently, like the actress was complaining because this doll was like 50 fucking pounds, and she has to hold it up like this, and the face it has is fucking nightmare fuel. It was the only thing that when they're showing me stills of Twilight, I'm like, what the fuck was happening with this? And then I see an interview with her, the blonde chick on Edward's side. And she's sitting there going, yeah, it was probably the worst because I had to hold up this 50-pound doll and try not to stare it in the face as it just looks like it's going to kill me.
I'm looking at it right now.
No.
I'm like,
Yeah, you're looking at it. I was just about to put a screenshot it and throw it on the chat.
Oh, it's horrible.
Jesus Christ!
it's so unsettling, right? Like
It's
the face.
so weird looking.
And it's heavy. So she's like trying not to freak the fuck out over this thing.
Fuck Twilight. That's all I gotta
For
say.
real.
Just
It,
fuck
nothing
Twilight.
good came from it.
Nothing good came out
Nothing
of
good
Twilight.
came from it. Not for movies,
none
not
of
for
the
media.
4 movies.
Nothing.
You know, just a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yes,
you know,
it made a
it's,
lot of money.
I'm going to say something that may be very controversial to some people, but I think you guys will agree with me. Twilight is the Paranormal Activity of fucking vampire movies.
Very fair.
Yeah, that's the
That's a good way to put it. I like that.
That's a great way to put it, and that's how we're gonna put it to bed.
Done.
Not with,
Beautiful.
Not with a dibs on a baby. No, just that.
Dip on a baby, dip on a baby, dip on a baby. That's he's sitting there. He got Taylor Lautner in there. Hey, like the baby was born. He's sitting there looking at the baby right over fucking Robert Pattinson and just goes, dibs. What?
Hey Robert, let me talk to you.
Hey, let me just hold on. Like, what are you doing? I'm just putting my hand on her and it is done. She is mine.
Cool. So when she's
he just walks in the room, looks at her, and goes, "It is done."
It is done.
when she's 18,
he's just like,
I'll be back.
What is done? And Bella's sitting there going, "Oh, it's not." He's just gonna, when she turns 18, he's gonna fuck her. And then Rob Pattinson's like, "Wait, what?" And then the movie ends.
Excuse you?
Huh? And then the movie ends.
Credits.
And then you're like, "That was the best ending to a movie ever." See,
Ever.
that would have been perfect. I would have been like, you know what?
It would have made the whole series.
I'd have suggested it to every single person in the world. I'd have said, you have to watch it from beginning to the final words. Yes. Okay? Because
if that was the ending, I'd
worth
probably watch it.
1000%. He just walks in, looks, it is done. Walks out, fucking Rob Pattinson holding the baby, being like, what the hell was that? And it's like, oh, nothing. He just imprinted her. Like when she's 18, she has to go with him and marry him and fuck him and shit. And then he's just like, what? Boom.
Credits.
Credits. And I think in the theater, it'd be like, yep, that was great. Thank you.
Riots.
I would have stood up and just clapped.
I'd have clapped. I'd have been
slow
like,
clap too.
You nailed it.
A slow clap.
You nailed the ending. If there had to be an
with
ending
a tear
to be
running
nailed,
down my eye.
That's it. You nailed it.
A tear, just one single tear, just dripping.
Hell, if that's the ending, I would own the director's cut of the DVDs.
Oh, me too. I would own that.
No deleted scenes. I don't want extra movie. I don't. Don't want
no extra.
But yeah, guys. I mean, I think we might have to have a part 2 on vampires because the bell's gonna ring soon.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't even gotten to TV shows.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got way more than TV shows too, bud.
You see. So maybe we need a Vampire Revisited.
Ooh.
And maybe we like cue in on some of the stuff that we didn't catch up on.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, we could do that.
Because if we start anything else, we're gonna keep going. Fucking Robert Pattinson and that baby's imprinted in my head now.
Look at the baby. Look at the baby. Look at the baby. Look at the baby.
Like I close my eyes and I
just try to
see
go to
the
sleep
doll.
at night.
Imprint the
CGI
baby. Imprint the baby. Imprint the baby. Imprint the baby.
I see the CGI baby. It's gonna haunt my dreams. So I need to exercise them.
Exercise
by not watching.
Demon of the baby.
Yep. But yes, I feel like Vampire Revisited needs to happen next semester. And I'll make sure of it.
We should definitely do it.
Yes.
They should have had David Bowie in the movie. When the baby was born, he could have came out.
What the fuck?
David Bowie
comes out in full like labyrinth attire.
The baby.
And comes up and goes to Tyler like, no, you can't do that. Why?
You cannot.
Because you remind me of the.
Because you remind me of the babe.
The babe.
The power.
The power of voodoo. Who do you do? I saw my baby.
See, but you watch the movie and you'll sit there and be like, this is great.
First of all, Bowie would be amazing in Twilight, but I'm happy he didn't because
if Bowie was a vampire, I think he'd be the main vampire.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a topic for Vampire Revisited. Celebrities who are actually vampires.
Keanu Reeves.
Yes. Keanu Reeves is definitely a vampire.
Angelina Jolie.
It's already a rumor.
She's definitely a vampire. Keanu Reeves is totally a vampire.
Cher. Vampire.
Yeah. She's a dying vampire.
Yeah.
As is Madonna.
Vampire. Yeah. Vampire.
Hollywood vampires.
Hollywood vampires. Lady Gaga.
Actual vampires versus people who have played them.
Good one.
Got you.
I like that.
Yeah, we have a loaded Vampire Revisited. But until then, let's say our goodbyes Let's say our toodaloos. Let's say our arrivederces. And let's try to hop out of here. You know what I mean? First, we'll go with Florida's favorite creep and my favorite creep,
Aw,
Sabrina.
thank you. You guys are my favorites too. Yeah, this was a lot of fun, and I definitely have way more to talk about vampires. I have anime, books. I've got artwork, different lore stories around the world. Like I went through on it, but I'm excited for revisiting this. And as long as you don't invite them in, they cannot get in. So I am going to make sure that they stay on the doorstep where they can be creepy without me. And until then,
Absolutely.
I will stay creepy in my own home.
Ooh, that's the best place to be.
Yeah.
Creepy and can let
Creepy
your
in my own
guards
home.
down and be as creepy as you can.
No judgment.
No judgment at all. No judgment at all. All right, Tommy James, the smooth effect himself.
The movie guy, baby. Yeah.
The
Let me
movie
tell
guy.
you, I'm very excited to go and revisit this topic because we needs to talk about some televisione, and we needs to touch on that what we do in the shadows, because that's a vampire fucking show.
Oh yeah.
So, and of course, when you talk about vampires, you always are going to discuss movies, because that's where it just fucking is the key, and you can go on forever, and that's what happened. We touched on the movies, and just like me, movie guy, baby, we can go forever. There's so much more vampire movies to even discuss if we wanted to, but we're not going to. So yeah, I'll be back for Vampire Revisited. The semester is almost over. We only got one more class after this, and then we gotta go. It'll be summer break, and then we come back for semester 3. So excitement runs wild. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, movie guy, baby, you are right. There's only one more class, and then it's over. And parting is such sweet sorrow. But I'm pretty sure you'll see a lot more of us. Until then, make sure you check us out wherever you listen to your podcast shows. Let's follow us on all the socials. You have to enroll, subscribe, and comment. And season 3, well, at semester 3 is on the horizon, and we are still taking applications. So if you enroll and subscribe, you want to be on the show and you want to talk some vampires, or you want to talk something else, then you have to contact us. But make sure you enroll. And until then, of course, we're gonna be revisiting this vampire topic, because there's so much to talk about, along with all the other monsters, creatures, and ghouls, and every other thing that we love dear in our hearts here at Night School Horror. But until then, I am your Who You Got champion, your longest reigning 705 days and counting, Mr. Malave, aka Matthew Malave. And until then, stay spooky, people. Peace. Bye.